Alright guys, here's something that's a little bit out of the ordinary for you. It's a curling iron repair. I caught the wife had one of these that quit working on her, and then without telling me, she went off and bought another, and then she was about to buy a third, where she was complaining with me. This one was starting to go. And what happens on them on the inside, all of them are the same. This particular one's a Revlon, but I bet they're all the same. They're going to have some type of a spring assembly inside, which is what works this top piece that you use when you want to curl your hair around and hold it along the hot part of the iron. And what happens is due to metal fatigue, eventually these springs just naturally break. So we can see this guy here has broke here, and the only thing left holding it is this side. You can see what's left of it is underneath this plate held on by this screw. And again, I'm betting probably all of them are very, very similar. I'll show you how to get this out, and I'll also show you how to buy replacements for this. That's the hard part. So let's take a look at how to get this guy apart. So you're only going to need a Phillips screwdriver, looks like. It probably should be the same on a lot of them. And it looks like this guy, just pops out. I can't be certain that every single model is going to be like that, but this one certainly was. I'm going to take a small Phillips screwdriver. And, this guy's never been apart, but just the years of wear with this thing have worn the inside, so you may encounter it being somewhat stripped. Just be prepared for that. But like I said, all of these, Revlon, Conair, all these other brands that you might run into are going to be very, very similar. So as we let the screw off, we're going to need to hold this because of the spring pressure. There he goes. All right. And you take this guy off. And so, like again, really close up, we can see how this piece has broken off there. And the only thing holding it on is the other side. So if we take this Phillips screw, we loosen this plate up, we got our broken spring just fell out. We can get what's left of this one. So what you got, it's just a standard spring. It's got two twists on it on each side, and it's looped up with a little roller here, and the roller rubs along the inside of this piece. So how do you get a new one of these? Okay, so that's what I'm going to show you, because unless you buy something recent, I understand more recent ones might come with spare springs. At least that's what the wife's telling me, but these older ones are not. And all you got to do, hop over to Google and type in curling iron springs, and there's a site here, right here. I'm not affiliated with it at all. I just found it, and it does the job. curlingironreplacementsprings.com. What about that? Okay, and come down here, and there's all kinds of these puppies. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to measure what we've got here, and we're going to look at the style, right? So if we take a look at the style here, we can see this is just a straight wire. And if we look over here, what we've got on the web pages, some of them you see have a little bit of a curve to them, right? So we know ours is not one of those. So we can kind of ignore those. And we can see some of them have no ball. And we know ours has a ball, right? Because if we take a look, we've got this little roller ball here. So we've already eliminated a lot of them. So the main thing is now, so how long is this spring? So I guess I'll take a look at it from this angle. And it looks like it's about 3/4 of an inch, it looks like it's about 3/4 of an inch from back to front. If I were to measure it in the middle, it'd still be about 3/4 right to the top of the ball. So it's somewhere in that neighborhood. It's definitely not 1 inch. And I look around here, I see there's a lot of 1-inch springs. 1-inch springs that either have thin wire or thick wire. You can see this is a thinner wire than that, or with these bent pieces at the end of the wire, depending on the type of clamp. And so along this, looks like most of these are 1 inch. There's some that are 1 3/16, 1 1/4, and a couple at 1 1/2. But this guy up here, this one that's just straight up 3/4, looks like our guy. So let's see if they give you any closer up. So what they're saying here is you should try to measure from the ball to the end of the spring curve. By the way, it's the first time I'm looking at this on the site. I just happened to to get it, and I wasn't even going to film this, and I figured, well, you know, maybe I will because it might help somebody. So laying this guy down, doing it the way they do it, I'm still measuring just around 3/4, right? Even by the way they're saying to measure it. So what I'm going to do then is for this particular model, I'm going to pick up a couple of these 1010s, because you know, if you notice this, right, there's 2 of them that she went through. And I'm going to show you something on this one too to kind of help you with this same problem, because if we take a look inside this first one, there's nothing left, right? There's just a piece of the round turned spring, the piece on the other side, and the whole roller assembly is all gone. So what would you do in that kind of a situation where, you know, you can't even tell what to measure? You know, what I would suggest, if you happen to have what's left of this, is you can measure from where the ball was rubbing on the top here. And so you can kind of get an idea. You can just measure from here to there, right, with this in the closed position. And that should give you a close enough approximation if you're in this kind of situation. But fortunately with this, we can tell it's going to be this guy the same. Now, the other thing I saw that you can do on here, besides picking up the springs, and I'm going to buy a couple of these, and then when I get them in, we'll come back and we'll finish this video and show the repair. It looks like you can actually take a look at various models, and it's kind of like a community thing, right, where different people have kind of chimed in here and said, hey, you know, I bought this particular spring and it worked for my models. And I can come down here and, you know, who would have known there were so many different brands and models of curling irons. This is definitely not my forte, right? But if we come down here to the R section on Revlon, cruising down here, lots and lots. Here we go. We got a Revlon. You can usually find the numbers on the handle, right? They're either on the handle, or it might even be like on some tag or something on the cord. But I see here, this is a model RVIR1103. And I don't see an 1103 on here. I see an 1103F. And I see a person that claimed that, hey, you know, I bought the 1-inch one and it worked for me. We can tell this one without the F is definitely not going to be the 1-inch type, because it's going to be the 3/4. So if you see the model here and you're missing the pieces like that first one I showed you, and somebody's chimed in and said, you know, hey, it's this, that can also be a way to kind of rescue you on that. All right, so I'm going to order my couple of springs here, and then when they come in, we'll come back and we'll finish this video, and hopefully this helps a lot of people out. We'll come back later. I got those springs. They took about a week. They came post office first class out of Texas, I believe. And you know, I put this back together so the wife could keep using it. So let's just re-disassemble it. Again, you know, the only tool you need to do these repairs is a small size Phillips screwdriver. For those of you who aren't familiar with that term, it's the one with a star pattern, like a plus sign. I shouldn't say a star, my plus sign. Take this guy off here, take this off, and all you have to do is loosen this so you can slide it out. So remember, this is the one that we had a broken one on one side. And so the parts came just in a little manila envelope stapled up here. I haven't even opened them yet, so let's see what we got. Okay, so you can see that it is the right height and length. It's a little bit longer on this end, but I don't think that's going to hurt anything. All you got to do to install it is kind of give it a squeeze, and it depends on this particular model. There's 2 indentations for the wire to fit in. Some of them might have a cover on the back, and you just push it in until it bottoms, in which case, you know, you might have a problem with this. You might have to cut it a little bit, but one like this, we can just give it a squeeze and push it in here until it comes right out to the back, like that. Just going to move it back just a little bit. Have it flush, and then we're just going to tighten it back up again. And the clamp will hold the spring in place. And then we can reassemble it. You can see this is not any kind of a real big deal kind of repair. The hardest thing is being able to locate and get the replacement springs. Once we get the screws on both sides of this handle, we'll be able to test this out. With the new spring on here, it's going to have a lot more tension than it did with the broken one. Once you get one side on, the other side's pretty easy. And then after this, what I'll do is I'll show you the other one that we showed that had a broken spring. And what if you don't find it on this website's database, the particular model you have? How can you tell which one fits yours? Okay, so all wood is new, right? So now we've got this guy in there, and the thing I was pointing out to you before, just kind of want to make sure that the ends of the wires are just right at the end of this clamp. Okay, so this guy's done, ready to go back. So what about the other one? So the other one, we didn't have much of a spring left, and I mentioned that you can try and use the rub mark on the top of the lever and try to figure out how big of a spring you need. And what I'm going to show you is a way to do that, a real simple way to do that. Just take a paper clip. Take a paper clip and a pair of pliers. It's probably the only set of tools you need. And you just kind of see until you can touch from the bottom of the spring to the rub mark. What I'm going to do, it's close enough. I'm going to try to do 3 hands here. If you guys can see this. Just trying to do this, right? We're trying to measure from where the spring might have sat here to the rub mark. And something like this will give you a close enough approximation. So you see here we're actually getting just under 3/4. But we know the springs from looking at the website only come in 3/4, 1, or slightly larger than 1, right? There's a 3/16, a quarter, and a half. So this type of approach with just with a paper clip is close enough to approximate what you would need to do to replace a completely missing spring like that. So I'm going to go ahead and repair this one as well. I actually ordered 2 of these springs of the exact same type, and this again was the 1010 spring from the website. That was a 3/4 inch spring with straight wire shank and a roller ball on it. And then just to kind of show you over here, right, so you're measuring from this back end side here, 3/4 to the loop out. I'm sorry, this end. All right, so I hope this helps you out. It's a real simple repair. It's all you, like I said, all you need is a screwdriver and this website, and you're good to go. I hope this helps you save some stuff from going in the landfill. If you have any questions or comments, I'll try to answer. Otherwise, thanks for watching.